All right. Hey guys, welcome back. Now we're ready to go ahead and set up our styling. But before we do that, here's what's happening. So we have our structure ready, right? So that means that anyone right now, we have it fully accessible. So anyone that needs to view our site or wants to view our site can. So the HTML is your structure. You want to make sure that your structure is sound. You really do. And that's what HTML's job is. It's the structure. Now, what we're going to get into is our CSS, which is our styling. And that's how we style the page, how we can beautify it or make it pretty. Okay. So the way that I like to explain CSS is, I'm going to go to Photoshop, HTML. So you know how you build a house or how you have a paper doll or how you have model cars, and you know how the model car is white and the structure is there, or the model car can be various colors. I think I saw a gray one or what have you. But guys, when you build those model cars when you're younger, and they're just this gray platform, but they have wheels, they have the outline of where like the doors and the windows and everything is going to go. Well, without seeing, before you paint it, even with paper dolls, it's this figure, most, female or male, and it's just a body structure, but there's really nothing else to it, nothing pretty. Also with the house, when you go to buy a house, a structure, it's just this nice structure, and you know it's a house, right? You know that model car, you know it's a car, and you know that paper doll is a male or female doll. There's no clothes on it, or there's no paint on it, and there's no colors to the house, but you know that structure is sound, right? That's what HTML is. It is the structure, the main support. Very important. Most important part of your web page is the structure, because everything else that you do to the web page, the viewer has the right to turn off. Like CSS, where you make it pretty, they can turn that information off. JavaScript, where you make it functional and behave a certain way, that's the stuff that can be turned off. But when we're talking about just the structure of a house, or the structure of that paper doll, or the structure of a car, or the structure of your web page, you want to make sure that it is solid, that the viewer knows what it is, that they can navigate through it, that they're not dealing with stuff that you have in the CSS that's only available through the CSS, and they can't enjoy your website. So for various reasons, viewers turn this information off. So you want to make sure that your structure is solid. Now, once you have this solid structure, after that, that's when you can put in your CSS. And the CSS is how you make it pretty. How you tell it what color it's going to be, what size it's going to be, what dimensions it's going to be, what it's going to look like, what background is it going to have, what color. All of that information is what comes in next. So then you have what is that HTML, which is the structure. This stands up on its own. Notice how it doesn't need this color for you to know that this is a house or that this is HTML. That's the goal of the structure. It needs to stand up by itself. Then you add the pretty, and the pretty is awesome, and it just adds to it, right? And it just makes it beautiful, but the structure by itself stands up. Final example. Here is the house where you've seen it. You drive past them all the time. Here is the structure of this house. And when you see it like this, you're like, oh, a new house is going up. Oh, a new building is going up. You know that by just looking at it, because that structure is solid. The foundation is strong. That is HTML. Then we get over here on this side, and we're dealing with our wonderful, wonderful CSS, which is how we make it pretty. But without the structure, you can have all the pretty in the world, and it's going to fail. And that's what we don't want. We could have all the prettiness in a website that we want. Oh, it's just gorgeous. But if that structure is not solid, your website is going to fail. So that's what we want to prevent. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to deal with our structure. Now, notice things are popping up, and this is because in our background, I have the videos that I create. As I create them, I'm exporting them and I'm saving them, and that stuff takes a lot of time. So I try to do it in between videos. So that's why all this stuff is popping up. So just bear with me if stuff pops up. All right. So if we look at our original document, we want to set up some styles. And the way that we do that is CSS, which stands for Cascading Style Sheets. Well, how does the HTML and the CSS works? You have to link it. So you have to link a style sheet to your HTML file. But before we do that, we need to create a style sheet, right? So now we're going to go back to our text editor. And we're going to go to File, New. And we just choose Text Document. And we want to name this one. So we go to File. And we're going to Save As. And this one, let's see what we want to call it. Let's call this Global. All right, so we're going to do global.css. And this usually stands for the global style sheet for your page. So remember I had you guys make a CSS folder. So let's navigate inside of that. And just make sure it says CSS right here. So it's global.css and then choose Save. So now we have a style sheet that's saved for us. We're going to close that. And if you're working in Text Wrangler, all you do is click the X. So we went ahead and set up CSS. And like I said, we're not going to mess with the CSS in this one, but I wanted to show you how to save an external style sheet. Now we will be getting into that next class. All right, but what we're going to deal with is called embedded style sheet. That means, or embedded styles. That means the styles are embedded inside of your web page. Now with this, there are two types. There is embedded styles and there are inline styles. And we're going to deal with both. Inline styles mean that the style is in line with your text or in line with whatever you're affecting. So let's say we want a chocolate drizzle to be a chocolate brown. Then we would add a style in line, meaning the style would be in line that will wrap around chocolate drizzle itself. When you do embedded, then you're focusing on a block of an area. So let's say we wanted this all H3s or this particular H3. We wanted this whole line of text to be bold, or we wanted that whole line of text to be red. We would target the H3 tag inside of our style sheet. Now, the difference and then there's three. There's the external style sheet, which is the one that we just created, the sheet, which means that all styles are on a separate sheet of paper outside of our HTML. Now there are various reasons. I actually use all three. I used to only use external style sheets when I was creating my web pages. However, I've learned reasons for using all three over the past, and that's why I use all three. So you'll want most of your styles because you want clean HTML. That's the main thing, is you want clean code. So what keeps your code clean is using that external style sheet. But there are reasons. There are reasons for both. Let's say you have like 100 pages and you on most of your pages you want your background to be black, or you want it to follow this particular image or pattern. So you would make an external style sheet and it would affect all 100 of those pages at once. But let's suppose you had 1 or 2 pages that you wanted to be a little different, or the client had 1 or 2 pages that they wanted you to make different. Well, with those, you can override that external style sheet with the inline style. And on those individual pages, you would put whatever the difference, like let's say on those pages you wanted it to be red, then on those 2 pages themselves, you would put that that style for that page to be red. And then so we have external style sheets, inline styles, external style sheets, and then embedded styles override the inline style sheets. And then external override the embedded style sheets, and then we have inline styles which override all of them. Okay, so when we talk in terms of hierarchy, then those are the reasons that we will want to use certain styles. And also, if you know that, okay, on all the other pages I could care less, I just want on this one page, I want Believe It to be larger and I want it to be bold. Well, then there's no point in putting it on an external style sheet, and there's no point in putting it embedded in your page. You might as well just target leave it with an inline style. We will talk more in depth of that in class. It may seem confusing right now, but believe me, it'll make sense eventually. Okay, so this video has already gone almost 13 minutes. I'm going to stop this one, and then when we come back, we're going to actually build our styles out. See you in a moment.